this is how I was paid for UI UX projects without any portfolio. Yeah, I know it's crazy, but this is a very unfiltered report. I'll just be saying everything without editing anything. So I'll just be saying it straight as it is, right? So, and I want you to watch this particular report to the entire end so you can get the full grasp of what I'm talking about, and now you can replicate the same strategy I used to do this by yourself. It doesn't matter whether you're a beginner, you're an intermediate or an advanced designer, can use this same strategy to do the same thing I did and then get projects, right? So without wasting much time, let's get into it. Now, a little backstory. I think just give you a little backstory. You can see my own perspective and like what I've done before to this particular point that I'm making this particular report. So you can have an understanding of the kind of person I am and the kind of experiences that I have. Okay, so I think that's just for you to have like a bit of background so you can anchor in that, right? Now, I started designing around 2015, and why that is like that's about close to 8 years ago now, right? And I've been designing since that time to up to this moment, and that's been my journey, right? And then at that point, I learned WordPress website design. You know, after school and all that, you're like, okay, go and learn computer design and all that. They teach you typewriting, all those things, right? But at that point, I was fortunate to learn how to design websites with WordPress. That's what I learned. That's what my parents paid for me to learn initially. You understand? Before I found graphic design, okay. And my first payout as a designer was a banner design and print design in 2016. It was very funny design, right? But I was paid for it, right? So at that point, most designers said I want to get paid to do something, be professional. So at the point, I believe I was a professional to an extent. Well, of course, I'm much better than I was then, but at the point, I was being paid for doing what I want. So at that point, I was already getting much more confident in my skills, and I could see the future if I keep building on that particular skill, which is graphic design. You understand? Now, still in the backstory, right? My next payout was far from my first payout. It was very far. I was very frustrated. I began to doubt myself, right? After that imposter syndrome, I'm not doing enough. What am I getting wrong? That kind of thing. I asked a lot of questions. What up a couple of people I expect, right? And that time I was already in school, right? Trying to figure out things. There was school there. It was my career and profession as a designer there also. Quite a lot of mixed up and all that. It actually made me up notes and I was frustrated a lot of times. But still, the payout was not coming. You understand? And at a point, eventually, a friend of mine, which was an artist, he sings, right? He wanted me to help him with artwork for his music. And I remember that at that time, because it was my friend, I couldn't be asking to pay me so high as he didn't to pay me. But at least he wanted to do something like a cartoon of himself to use for his music artwork for a single. And I remember that at that point in time. And it was like a cartoon yourself kind of thing, you understand? Character design and all that. And I did it for him, you understand? I remember my payday was, I think it was Fanta and bread or something like that. Very, very funny times. And well, that like maybe my next period after that particular period where I was paid for banner design and print. So you can see like, it was not like, it was not rosy from the beginning, you understand? It was not rosy at all. And then my first 100K was about maybe like 3 years ago or 4 years ago, right? It was a logo design / brand design project I was paid for, you understand? So basically from that 2016 when I got paid for a particular brand design, of course I got few works here and there, 2K, 5K, 1K, here and there, but until I got my first 100K, it was around maybe like 4 years after, or even 5 years after. I can't remember exactly the timeline right now. You understand? Now you probably want to ask, okay, if I got my first payout from banner design, got next payout from cartoon artwork, I got other things from brand design and logo design. So how UI UX? It's interesting to do that. UI UX is not my major specialty. Where even though I'm very good at UI UX, my specialty is brand design. But brand design interestingly covers a lot of things, including UI UX. Funny, but I don't want to get to that details right now. But an aspect of brand design involves user experience, as to understand how the users with a particular brand, the target audience, are going to interact with that brand. Now, a lot of I think let me just say enough of stories. We want to have the strategies. We want to have how we can apply this ourselves, right? So let's get into the interesting part. So now how UI UX is designed. So let me just get into that so you can move into the strategy right now. Now, so how UI UX design. My one is that I'm self-taught, right? I learned by myself. Most of the things I knew were self-taught. And when I say self-taught, not because I'm saying like I want to be glorified in that aspect, but because I didn't exactly have a teacher, practically. I didn't have a teacher. Often the teacher that taught me web design, what's it called? Web design using WordPress. That's practically the teacher I have. A computer, know that, to understand. Well, learning graphic design itself, brand design, logo design, even UI, UX design, or self-taught. Watch a lot of videos, practice, and the perfect my skills. Why that's worked for me was very crazy. I used like 5 years, 4 or 5 years or so before I could practice and get what I'm doing perfectly. It took me a long time for me to figure out, okay, look what I'm doing right now is not supposed to be done. This I learn, relearn, unlearn, that kind of thing. It's a very kind of roller coaster kind of ride for me. You understand? And UI UX design for myself didn't come because I was pushing out as a UI UX design. It came from the fact that a client was referred from a friend of mine, and then he said, okay, after the project, I think it was a logo design. Yeah, I remember it was a logo design project. And then the client was like, can you do this stuff? Just a couple of screens, a couple of website platform screens, UI UX. They're like, can you do this from I just need like 5 screens or so. And then they added the project and I said, yes, I can do it. At that point, I didn't know how to do it, but I've seen a lot of videos because I'm very inquisitive when it comes to design. When I love something, I want to learn more about it. I want to research more about it. So I've learned, not like I've learned it practically, so to say. I have an idea basically of how to go about it. At that time, I was using Adobe XD, right? But I moved into Figma. So I was using Adobe XD. I said, yes, I can do it. And I knew I had to rush to YouTube to go and watch more videos before I could do that project. And I ordered the project. The client practically didn't know. You can't understand that as a graphic design, but we wanted something very cheap. That's what we were. And brings me to my third point because I messed up. Right? I didn't build projects properly. I just built it like a flyer. I just built a plan screen, that kind of thing, and it was not the best way for me to be stuff because of course I didn't know about a lot of things when it comes to UI UX design, so I messed up at that point. You understand? So, and when I say right side client, it means that when a client comes to you and they need something after a particular request, for example, a client comes to you for logo design, they need letterhead, business card. Those things are the right side of that logo design. So without that logo design, you can't add the logo to the business. So anything that comes after a particular request is right side client. So that's like another aspect of business of design. Hopefully I'll teach that in my next class, my major class when I start the class. So that's like how UI UX comes to be. Now, the major part of what is here is how to get paid now the portfolio. And I'm sure the other be like, okay, guys, just get to the main point. Yeah, and the main point right now. But if I didn't talk about those things, you guys might not have an understanding where I'm coming from, or anything I'll be saying at this particular point in time, because it might seem a bit technical, but it's quite as simple as I can make it be at this point in time. As I said, it's an unfiltered report side. I'm not trying to code anything back, but I'm trying to keep it as short as possible. Now, you have to understand the KTD and the K2O frameworks. Or it's not something like no mathematics. It's basic abbreviations, right? So the KTD for me, I shortened that from know, trust, and deliver. And the KTO is know, trust, and over deliver. So those two frameworks are very powerful, more than you can imagine. Now, before any client can give you work to do or to undo any project of theirs, whether it's a small task or very complex or complicated task, they have to know you first. So I can't transfer 10 million euros to someone I don't know. Not possible. Right? Even though I'm paying for my child's school fees, I'm paying for someone, I have to know the person. Okay, I'm paying for something. Okay, this one I'm transferring to one, am I transferring to the person? Is it confirmed? That kind of thing. You understand? You have to know someone, and then you have to trust. So it goes from knowing the person. If I don't know you, I can't trust you. Right? And I can't trust you without knowing you also. So those two things follow each other. So they know you first, then they trust you. Now, why the two frameworks are separated is because of this. Now, the bare minimum of any project or any task or design is the KTD, actually. So they know you, they trust you, and then you deliver. The deliver is from you now. So the KT is from the client, the deliver is from you, the designer. So the KTD, so they know you, they trust you, and then you deliver. You understand? Now, but the KTO is better than KTD, which is no trust over deliver. Now, if you are in the KTD framework, it works. A lot of designers are mostly in the KTD. They say, okay, client comes to you and say, okay, we want so, give that to them. That's all. Let's probably even the value comes back. When you do the KTO, a lot of time, and you do very well, the client keeps coming back. The clients have been working with for about 2 years, about 3 years. You know, so at the point I had to just cut out some clients, not because I don't want to work with them, but because some of them are not willing to improve the pricing as I improve myself also. And that's fine actually. But aside from that, most of the clients I have before, I probably still have them down So now, in fact, most of them say reach out to me sometimes to have to do some small projects. And that's usually because of the KTU. For example, a client beats you for a project to deliver a flyer, something like that. I don't want to use randoms, a very basic thing so almost everybody can understand. To build a flyer, they pay you for it. And then they just pay you for a single flyer. And then you deliver 2 flyers. Probably you might, in fact, the second one might not even be an exact flyer. It might just be a variation. For example, you did black variation in the first one, and this second variation as a white variation. But still variations. So can't you see that, okay? And then they tell them to pick. And at this point, they are pushing it to them now. Even though they paid you for just 1 flyer, they're giving us 2 variations, they love you for it. Not because you don't have work to do, but because you value them and you want to see them being happy and satisfied. Unless a client that is, I don't know the word to use, but most clients will definitely want to come back to you and to their projects because they can say they're mostly having the best use of their money by coming to you as a designer to be able to undo work for their project. You understand? So that's the KTD and the KTO frameworks. And I have to understand it's not about you. That's the fact. You have to understand it's not about you. Say a client is coming to you to pay you money. If you don't understand what the client wants, client request, what the project is about, and you just want to just collect that money, collect that millions, and then you can say I'm the take bro, take this. You are not probably not going to get that money. Or probably you get that money, probably not just get, but that money is not going to come as possibly even from that only client. And another thing that blinks is the fact that you most likely don't need 20 clients. And that you can just have just 3 clients or 5 clients and you're fine the rest of your life. And that's mind blowing. You understand? You don't need 200 clients to do very well as a designer. I just have just 2, 3, 5 and you're done. Unless you're running an agency, that might be different, maybe a bit different. Or for me, 20% of my clients pay most of my income. 20% of my clients. The other 80% contribute just, there are very many, but just 80%. You understand? So that's how it works. Then also, be like a pro. If you don't know how to bid and you get into a project, I mentioned this already in the initial time when I had my first similarly UX project, and I just messed up. I just messed up because the client paid me because of that. It's a very nice deal, sweet deal for them. You understand? Imagine I wanted to sell the iPhone 14 Pro Max now. I tell you that I should bring 10,000 euro, and it's a perfect phone. Not like I stole it because I didn't know its value, right? But the client knows the value. Clients definitely rush it. Let go. You understand? So I have to understand how to bid like a pro. You understand? And then before I move to the last part, getting into the intricacies of me being paid without a portfolio. Getting paid without a portfolio was not because the client doesn't know what they are doing, but because of the framework I mentioned initially, the KTD and the KTU. I worked with these clients before on other projects. You understand? I've never worked on the clients on the UIS projects. You understand? And I should also mention this, like, right? It's not just this client I've bidded a project for like the portfolio. I've bidded projects with many clients without any portfolio. In fact, currently I don't have a portfolio. So the only portfolio I'm building right now is because of my agency. And that's because I'm taking on clients, and that's like mostly the requirement. But as a personal brand, I don't have a portfolio for a long time now, right? And not because I don't want to have a portfolio, but because I'm so sure of what I deliver, and most of my clients come from referrals. So because of course, if someone refers me to you, person has seen my work, person have experienced what I can do, and that premise alone is enough for me to build upon. The highest I can do is probably send you like 2 or 3 samples of what I've done before, or having a structured portfolio, case stories and all that. I don't have one currently because my agency has one really currently. You understand? And usually why I can do that is because of the frameworks I mentioned initially, the KTD and the KTO. You understand? And I had to learn how to be like a pro. So being like a pro makes the clients have more confidence. You understand? And then if the client is pressing you to give them a portfolio, and you don't have the KTD or the KTU, you can't blame them actually. Because requesting what you have to understand about requesting a portfolio, I will explain now. For example, even though I'm a designer, I run my team, the VSL HQ, or the VSL Studio, and then the VSL Academy, right? If I was going to hire someone to work with our agency, you understand, and I'm asking for a portfolio, not because I want to ask for a portfolio, because every agency has a portfolio. I want to see the proof that you can do what you said you can do. You understand? So usually, if you have that KTD and the KTU frameworks already intact, mostly clients will not ask for it again. You understand? Especially if they've worked with you and they've trusted your work, they most likely will not ask for it, or someone referred them to someone they trust so much. And just send a couple of samples. Okay, yeah, I can do this, and then you actually communicate with them, and you can actually solve their problems that they have. You understand? And you're not just bidding because you want to collect their money, but you truly care about it. I've had instances whereby a client comes to me, they need something, and I have to refer them to someone else, not because I don't need money, You understand? But because I said, okay, this particular project, I don't think I can handle it, or I don't have the time, or not the best fit for them. Of course, I refer them to someone else that can do it. But most designers don't want to do that. They just want to collect every money that comes through their door, whether they can handle the project, whether they can't do the project. So you have to understand all these intricacies, all the concerns, bidding for projects, and then getting paid. Now, the fourth part concerning this particular aspect is my LOJ strategy. It's very simple, actually, and it's my favorite. Even it's very risky, it's my favorite. And that's LOJ just simply means learning on the job. A lot of clients I've worked with, not like, okay, not I can say a lot of clients, but a couple of projects that I'm kind of new into. I learned them on the job. My first UI UX design, the one I said I did a couple of screens for the client, and I messed up the bidding and others. Oh, I learned on the job. I had to watch this. I watched countless videos for me to handle the project and all that. Installed. I didn't have Adobe XD at the time. I had to install Adobe XD, right? Watch videos about Adobe XD. Watch videos about UI UX design itself. Watch videos about UX research. Watch videos about a lot of things. And I was delivering about. I think the timeline was about. There was about a week. This is around a week or something like that. The very small project, but it was very, very important for them because we're going to use it for an investor pitch, for their pitch deck and all that. And actually on the job. But it's my very favorite strategy when it comes to building a portfolio, but it's very risky. But it works for me. And if you are very confident and I'm very, quite crazy like I am, it can work for you also. So these are my 4 major things that I did for me to be able to be paid without the portfolio. In that particular project, I was paid close to 1 M. I won't say the exact money, was very, very close, very, very close to 1 M naira, and that's how you got the project. So these are the 4 major things concerning how I got paid with a portfolio. So you can apply all these things, and probably have to watch this video again for you to understand what I discussed and pick a lot of things, because I said a lot of things beyond just these 4 things. Even if you screenshot them, it's probably still have to watch the videos again. These are the 4 core things that would help you to get paid, whether with a portfolio, whether a portfolio. So at this point, it's not just about having a portfolio, but I just share this so you can know that whether you're a beginner, you have a portfolio, it doesn't really matter. Not as much as you can deliver, and the client is able to trust you and can get what they are paying for. Why not? You can use these 4 strategies, and you can get paid even without a portfolio for any project. It doesn't matter whether it's UI, UX, branding, logo design, whichever it is. You can get paid without a portfolio. So that's about it. And I strongly hope that you got more than one thing, like 2 or 3 things that you can apply for yourself instantly, actionable strategies that you can actually apply onto your own career right now, into your own profession right now, and get lots of jobs coming in and seeing a lot of deals, and then get moolah in the account, right? So that's it. And thank you for watching to the end, and I'll see you in the next one.